Wife of 12 years, lover of 20, had an affair. I am crushed beyond words. I, 41M, found out last Saturday night, 4 days ago as of this posting, that my wife, 40F, has been having an affair for the past several months with a man from her gym. I had my suspicions for weeks/months, but I kept convincing myself I was being irrational, and that she, of all people, could never do something like that to me. I looked at her phone after she was asleep. Invasion of privacy, I know, but it was justified, and I saw ironclad, photographic proof that my worst nightmare had come true. My heart is shattered into a million pieces. I confronted her and we have been talking about it, what to do next, ever since. There have been rivers of tears, from both of us, but surprisingly, no anger, no rage. I don't know if that just means I have not yet arrived at that stage of grief yet. I hope that's not the case. Or if it just means that I love her so much that her betrayal makes me sad, not mad. Please do not knee-jerk reaction to this and call her a whore, tell me to kick her to the curb, etc. I need positivity right now, not more negativity. I still love her, deeply. Even the most egregious of sins can't undo 20 years of true love. I'm committed to try my best to work this out with her and hopefully, in time, learn to trust her again, forgive and reconcile. Partly because I want our 2 daughters, 6 and 9, to grow up in a loving home with 2 parents that are an example of how to be a good couple, recent transgressions notwithstanding. I'm not sure I'll ever tell them about this. But more importantly, I want to reconcile because I don't believe in holding grudges. I don't believe in throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And I do believe in second chances. And I definitely believe that with the exception of this infidelity, she is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I want this to be a very dark chapter in our story, not the end. She has since contacted him and ended their relationship, and he agreed to attend a different gym class time slot midday, gracious, for a human piece of garbage, while my wife attends at 6 a.m. still. So at least there is some closure there. We have been talking ad nauseum about why she strayed. While it was 100% her choice to betray me and hurt me in such an unimaginable way, nothing happens in a vacuum. After some deep reflection, I realize that over the years I have been taking her for granted. I love yous were few and far between, sex had become predictable, scheduled, and robotic, though she shares half the blame for that. After lengthy discussions, and a lot of ugly crying, we also determined that somewhere along the way of having kids, the flame of passion had gone out. We were friends, and co-parents, still loved each other, but we didn't show it well. We got complacent. We have been talking and talking, well, texting, actually, since was out of town Monday through Wednesday this week. Bad timing for a work trip, and are trying to navigate this and eventually begin the rebuilding process. Eventual forgiveness will happen, time heals all wounds, but trusting her again will be the hard part. She swears up and down she will never let it happen again, but, yeah, that's what they all say. Some would say, once a cheater, always a cheater. She's actually said that many times herself in the past, and that doing something bad keeps getting easier with each offense. The counterpoint to that is that the first time you do something, you may know what the consequences would be, the guilt, knowing how much it would crush me, but until you actually feel and experience those consequences, you don't really understand them. Some people return to a life of crime after getting out of prison, and some people get their shit together and go straight. I hope/want to believe that my wife is of the latter. I'm using a throwaway account and remaining anonymous for a number of reasons. Firstly, I'm embarrassed. I know I'm victim blaming myself, but I can't help but feel like the beta male that was bested by the alpha. I've been cuckolded and it feels horrible. I don't want everyone to know this. I'm trying to find the glimmer of hope in all things right now, and all I can say to this is that she remains with me, and the alpha is alone now. Another reason not telling anyone IRL about this right now is that if, when we do reconcile, I don't want everyone she knows to hate her. This would not be productive for living a healthy life for either of us. Family gatherings would all be dysfunctional, and she would not feel comfortable in her own skin living in our neighborhood among people who think she is scum. The only one who needs to bear the burden of judging and forgiving her is me. And well, partially you now, because of this post. Sorry about that. If I ever decide to tell people about this, it won't be until this is all a distant, horrible memory. Anyways, please try to stay positive here. Negativity begets negativity. She's not a whore, she's not a slut. She's the mother of my children, the love of my life, and my best friend. She made a horrible, horrible choice, and we will deal with the fallout in the best way we can, and I hope beyond hope that in a month, a year, 5, 10, we can look back on this as a low point and that we crawled out of the depths of hell together. What doesn't kill us, only makes us stronger. Story 2. Wife had an affair with an old friend. Me 36, M, my wife 32, F, have been married almost 10 years, and have 3 small children. About 5 years ago my wife had an affair. I had a feeling at the time. We got married after a year of dating, she the one that proposes to me. We didn't have a wedding or anything, just got married in court. I have always asked her if she wants a wedding, but she always gives me the same response, for what, she's a really simple woman, she don't really like going out or drinking, or so I thought. Around 5 years she stared been weird hiding her phone from me, been distant, and she changed her password, so I wouldn't be able to check her phone, deleting MSG's typical unfaithful behavior, and I saw all the flags. It happened for a couple weeks during the month of December. I noticed that she stared putting on makeup to work and putting perfume, she never has done that. She also stared working out and stared taking care of herself. At the time we only had 2 small children. When I talked to her about all she was doing, she got defensive and said I was overreacting, and she was just talking to her friends on the phone. When I asked why she changed her password, she said that because she didn't want the kids to go in her phone, and she said she could. I had always access to her phone and she to mine, no big deal if we used each other's phone. One day I notice a charge for a wax place, and it was weird because she never gets wax down under, she takes care of herself, but not like that. I had asked her to do that for me before and told me it was gross. One night she fell asleep watching a show on her phone, so I grabbed her phone. I notice on Snapchat she had her old friend the AP on there. When we started dating she told me about him, we was somewhat open about our past, and I had told her to cut him out her life and she agreed. So I deleted him and blocked him from her Snap, and I confronted her about it. She said nothing and just say she won't talk to him again. And a week or 2 pasted same thing, she fell asleep with her phone on, and I checked it and saw she had added him again, just changed his display name. I woke her up and confronted her and asked her why was she still talking to him. She said nothing, so I grabbed her phone and threw it just to get a reaction from her again. She said nothing. So I stared, telling her about divorce and selling our home. She finally stared, crying and telling me she was just talking to him, and nothing else. She said she didn't do anything with him or anyone else. She changed her password so I could check her phone whenever I wanted, and had stopped being on her phone so much. I never believed her. I've been in similar situations where the affair partner won't admit to anything unless you have proof. We worked it out from our kids. Not much long after her affair she ends up pregnant, and I have always questioned if the child is mine. She would tell me it is, that there was no one else. For the past 5 years I have always wondered what she really did. She swears she did nothing. Since I have access to her FB now, it took a long time, but I found out about her past. Turns out she used to be really physically active, and would party and drink a lot not long before we started dating. And she would sleep with her AP every other day, but they never dated. In a conversation she described to a friend how she was talking to someone and her birthday party was coming up, And she wanted closeness for her birthday, but the guy she was talking to might not go, and she was thinking about inviting her AP, because she would have a good time. Her friend told her to stop sleeping with him if she wanted something serious. She responded that her AP was good, but the guy she was talking to was good too. That's just a little backstory about her relationship with this guy. We went on vacation last year. Her phone got ruined and she wasn't able to log into her old Snapchat and email, so she made a new one on a new phone. After a year of that happening, I was able to log in her old email, giving me access to her old Snapchat. So I unblocked him, and soon after her sends a message saying he wanted to get in contact but didn't know how. I asked my friend what I should do, and I told him I was going to pretend to be her, see if I could find anything out. For 2 weeks, not much, just small talk, only time he would be interested in a conversation if it was sexual nature. He would send pictures without a shirt, telling me, thinking it was my wife, to go spend the weekend with him. So I would go along. He would send videos of his privates. So one day I get my answer. He slipped up and said he picked her up from work, that he loved how sneaky she was. He said he only did it once, but I have my suspension. My relationship with my wife has been good before and after the affair. We got each other out of poverty, and we are in a lot better place than our families. We don't really argue, and for the most part our bedroom wasn't bad, but she did stop sleeping with me because she was always tired from work, so we wouldn't have a lot of closeness. So I would always try to please her, always try for her to finish before me, even got her toys to spice things up. Would try to take her on dates and do things with her. I cook since I'm a chef, and I clean, do laundry, help with the kids. Sometimes I do work a lot, but I do it to give her everything. She comes from a single-parent home, because her dad was abusive to her mom and left them to fend for themselves at a small age. The confrontation: she was reading a book in our bed, I lay next to her and tell her if we can talk. Our relationship at this point has been good. This has always been eating me in the inside, but I'm good on suppressing my emotions. I asked her what really happened. She said, "Why you bringing this up? I thought we was past this." I told her you was past this, not me. Again she said nothing happened. Typical cheater answer. I know I needed proof before she admitting anything. So I bluffed, told her I knew, and she still denied it. I told her I knew he picked her up from work. She had a black look in her face like she got caught. But that's all I knew, so I asked her what they do. She said nothing, just talk. I told her that's not true, that I know what happened, but I need to hear it from her. Lies after lies from we almost kiss, but I stopped, to we only made out, to we almost had closeness, but she stopped, to we had closeness, to wearing protection, to where he finished. She did things for him that she didn't do for me even if I asked her. She told me how sorry she was. She told me that she didn't know why she did it and didn't want to tell me what really happened because she didn't want to lose me. I told her, if you didn't want to lose me, then why do something like that? She said she didn't know. She kept crying and told me she would move out next week. This was about 2 months ago. It crushed me. I couldn't sleep or eat. It was hard on my physical and mental health. I asked her to stay, but it won't be easy, that I was mostly doing it for the kids and she has a lot of work. During our marriage, that was the only time she has ever acted like that. She's been really good to me now and been really attentive to all my needs. I'm looking for advice on what to do. I've been told to try to work it out since it was so long ago and we have a family together, but I feel empty and I feel like there is more to the story, but also I don't. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.